Fucking hell. Fucking hell. No. Alright. That was quite terrible. Literally. Guy's literally saying RIP. It's hilarious. Wait, hold on. Okay, we back. We are back. Alright, yeah. Sorry, I was rambling before I left. So basically what I was saying was Raf isn't a good fit for Chanel because he's too experimental. I just don't think his designs will resonate at Chanel. The Chanel customer isn't looking for the type of designs that Raf would make. So yeah. Let me see were people talking about Raf when I was talking about it. Let's see. What did he say? I'm a fan of minimalism in fashion, and to me, Jill Sander is one of my favourite brands. Yeah, same. This guy said, Raf is too gritty and experimental for Chanel. Yeah, I agree. That's basically what I was trying to say. The stream is dead. Yeah. My camera died on me, so I had to change the battery real quick. Let's see. Do you think Phoebe Philo would be a good fit for Chanel? Maybe. Definitely a better fit than Raf, for sure. Yeah, Raf don't fit Chanel. Yeah, he doesn't, bro. Do you think Phoebe Philo would be a good fit for Chanel? I'm thinking about that question. She would. Phoebe Philo would be a good fit for Chanel, actually. She would. Although, I think she would make it less about the branding. It'll be more minimalistic, but I think she'll find a way to change people's view of Chanel as this whole like over-branded thing to, there'll still be some C's in there, but I think the silhouettes would be crazy if Phoebe Philo goes to Chanel. I would love to see that. But I think she quit fashion. I'm not sure, but I think, like, I haven't heard from her in ages, so. Raf and Michael Kors, that would be a better fit. Michael Kors has been terrible. I'm not even going to get into Michael Kors. Raf in, Virgil out. At the end of the day, as much as like I criticize Raf, boy is Louis Vuitton selling right now. Louis Vuitton is selling mad. Louis Vuitton is selling like wildfire. And I know that's why they hired Virgil, so he's doing his job. I can't fault him for that. I can't fault the man. He's doing his job perfectly. Ultimately, Louis Vuitton is a business, and if stuff is selling out, then business is booming. I need to answer some other questions as well. I just realised someone asked me a question I think I didn't answer. I think someone was asking me about if I'm going to start my own brand or something. Yeah, I think I've talked about the fact that I was going to start my own brand, but I need to have the means, because if I start a brand, I don't want it to be one of them dead like merchy, YouTuber-y brands. It's going to be like very to do with my chemical engineering. The materials are going to be sick. It's going to be minimalistic, obviously, because that's my aesthetic personally. So yeah, that's all I have to say about my brand. Virgil is more a marketing strategy than a designer for Louis Vuitton. Yeah, but I think we all know that by now. Like, we all know that. the collections are just meh. But because Louis Vuitton is a storied house and people will like empty their bank account for that Louis Vuitton print, so whatever he does is gonna sell out, like, yeah. So I can't really talk too much about Louis Vuitton because, yeah, it's just, I just don't really care right now. While Virgil is there, I don't really care, because unless, the thing is, I'm really objective. Like, I promise you, if Virgil has a good collection, I'll say. It's just that I'm yet to see a good collection from Virgil in years. So it's really hard to think that anything's gonna change. And why should he change when everything's selling out anyway? So after all, he is there for a reason. A lot of people haven't made it as far as being the creative director of menswear for Louis Vuitton. So that's all I'll say. That's all I shall say. What is he saying? Louis Vuitton is a dead subject at the moment. It isn't a dead subject. Like, it isn't dead to talk about. I'm sure if I talked about Louis Vuitton a lot on my channel, I'd get a lot of views, but I just don't. I don't like talking about Louis Vuitton because it's just not good. The clothes aren't good. What are some of your top 3 designers you're into at the moment? Oof, I can't really do top 3s because I like too many designers. Personally, I like to rep London brands. Like, I would, if I had, let's say, £1,000, I would buy London brands before I buy any other brands. Because obviously I live in London, it's like, you have to support local businesses. So, top 3, Craig Green, A Cold Wall, Kiko Kosadinov, and then, I'll say top 4, then Craig Green. Let's just add Craig Green there. Let's see. I'm wondering, how do they integrate the designs of Virgil Abloh and Nicolas Gasquier at Louis Vuitton, especially the leather goods? Personally, I feel like at Louis Vuitton, right, someone just does all the work for Virgil, and then whatever work they do, Virgil just signs it off and is like, yeah, that's fine. And then, because it's Louis Vuitton, it sells out. Will the general public ever come around to Virgil's ineptitude as a designer? Will probably be a bandwagon in a few years. Okay, so let's go on a little rant here. Let me talk about Virgil Abloh and why Virgil Abloh pisses me off so much. So, this is going to sound really, like, what's the word? Really snobby, but I don't really care. So basically, I feel like people in Europe know more about fashion in general than people in America. So when I go to America and I talk to black people are always saying stuff about, I don't like all these brands, they're not for us. I don't like Gucci, Moncler, blah, 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 they're not for us, blah, blah, blah. And they say that, but they wear Gucci. And then I'm always like, okay, you're saying all of this, but it's like, why don't you support black designers then? And then they're like, oh yeah, I support black designers, I have Off-White. And I'm just like, so it's just like, every person who has this mindset of, oh, I want to support an ethnic minority, I want to support black designers, they only know about Virgil Abloh, and it does my head in. Because like, out of all black designers to know, like, Virgil Abloh is like the worst designer of every single black designer I know. Like, he's worse than Shane Oliver, he's worse than Martin Rose, he's worse than A Cold Wall, not A Cold, Samuel Ross, he's worse than everyone. Which other black designers can I think of off the top of my head? Even Olivier Rousteing, he's worse than him. Like, he's just the worst. Like, if anyone is talking about like black designers, like when they do that whole, we want to support ethnic minorities, please, not Off-White. There's so many better brands made by black designers than Off-White. It just does my head in. That's honestly, I think, what pisses me off most about Virgil Abloh and Off-White. The fact that like everyone's like, yeah, I support black designers, I wear Off-White. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Does my head in, bro. Let's see what people are saying in the comments. What website is the best to keep up with fashion? I don't really look at websites. I don't even know how I keep up. I think... so in terms of like fashion shows, obviously I can keep up because it's not hard. Like there's a calendar, there's a schedule. You can see which brands are showing at each fashion week and when, what days. So you know when to like look out for their live streams for when the shows are live. Or you can look at reviews later. So that's how I keep up with shows. That's like the easiest bit. But to keep up with like news, like what the controversies and stuff like that, just social media, really. Let's see. That girl knows how to make a pair of monarchs. You're a joker, bro. He's worse than Heron Preston. Actually, no, he's not. Yeah, Heron Preston has to be the worst black designer. Yeah, I don't think Virgil Abloh is worse than Heron Preston. I'll take that back. Yeah, Heron Preston is definitely worse than Virgil Abloh. Heron Preston's terrible. Off-White is still okay to me. Okay, let me explain why I'm so critical about Off-White. It's more to do with where they're trying to position themselves. So, I'm very unique in a way that like I've seen people who are into high fashion for the most part, they're either into high fashion or into streetwear, whereas I'm into both, which is very unique because most people into high fashion, if they see someone wearing Supreme, they'll like look down on them, whereas I can wear Antimonimista on Monday and wear Supreme on Tuesday. Like I literally just wear what I like. But when it comes to people that are into high fashion, I think they're a bit snobbish in the fact that they wear high-end fashion and they don't wear streetwear because they think they're above it. So when it comes to things like Off-White, the only reason I'm so critical about Off-White is because Off-White shows at Paris Fashion Week. Off-White is trying to like